She sent me an email at 6:47 a.m. I am asking for a divorce. I took a breath, then called my attorney. Accounts separated, insurance modified, and evidence archived. When she wanted to talk, I gave her my attorney's contact information. What followed? Everything accelerated. The meeting that changed everything. Tuesday morning started like any other until I opened my laptop and saw the email that would change everything. The subject line read, important read, professional and cold as if she were terminating a business contract. I have made the difficult decision to ask for a divorce. I need space to reflect on my life and what I want for the future. Please respect my decision and give me the space I am requesting. I will be staying at my sister's house indefinitely. We can discuss the details later when emotions are not running so high. No phone call, no face-to-face conversation after 8 years of marriage. Just an email sent at 6:47 in the morning while I was still sleeping. The clinical tone told me everything about the respect she had for our relationship. I sat there for exactly 30 seconds, then typed my response. Perfect. A single word sent when she was probably expecting tears, begging, or a desperate attempt to change her mind. I had a different approach. If she wanted to treat our marriage like a business transaction, then I would manage it exactly as such. First call my attorney. I forwarded the email to him within minutes of receiving it. Document everything, he said. This email is gold. She is essentially declaring abandonment of the marital home and asking for a separation. Second action, our joint bank accounts. I transferred my direct deposits to a new individual account and moved half of our savings, legally mine, and now safely separated from any future claims. Third, benefits and insurance. I called Human Resources and had her removed from my health insurance, my life insurance beneficiaries, and my emergency contacts. The representative seemed surprised by my matter-of-fact tone. Fourth, I changed the Netflix password. A small gesture, but one that felt right. By lunchtime, I had accomplished more divorce preparation than most people do in a week. While she was likely expecting me to chase her, I was busy protecting my future. My phone buzzed with a text from her sister. She is really upset that you have not called. I replied, she asked for space. I am respecting her wishes. The beauty of her email was its clarity. No ambiguity, no room for interpretation. She wanted space, she wanted to leave, and she had made her decision. I was merely accommodating her request with the efficiency she had shown me. That evening, I ordered dinner from my favorite steakhouse in the Dallas suburbs. I poured myself a beer and watched Monday Night Football in peace. No passive-aggressive comments about my choice of restaurant, no complaints about the volume, no drama. For the first time in months, my house felt calm. My phone buzzed again around 9 o'clock in the evening. Her sister, maybe you should call her. She is an adult who made an adult decision. I am treating her as such. I spent the rest of the evening organizing documents, screenshots, and financial statements. 8 years of marriage generates a lot of paperwork, and I wanted everything documented before any conversation about the details. The next morning, another text from her. We should talk. I showed the message to my attorney during our 10 o'clock appointment. He smiled. Let me guess. She realizes that divorce involves real consequences. Probably, I said. What should I tell her? That all communication must go through the attorneys now. She wanted it to be formal. So, we are keeping it formal. I replied via text. Please contact my attorney for any questions related to the divorce. His contact information is attached. Professional, clean. Exactly the tone set by her email. On Wednesday, I received confirmation that she had been officially served with the divorce papers. Her response time exceeded my expectations. Apparently, when you actually take action instead of fighting the decision, the process moves remarkably fast. My coworker asked how I was handling everything. Like a business dissolution, I told him. She made it clear that this is what she wanted. The truth is, I felt relieved. Months of tension, passive-aggressive arguments, and her general dissatisfaction with everything had worn me out. Her email had given me permission to stop trying to fix something that clearly could not be fixed. Thursday morning, my attorney called. Her attorney wants to schedule a meeting. Apparently, there are some misunderstandings about the process. What kind of misunderstanding? The kind that happens when someone asks for a divorce without understanding what they are actually asking for. I almost laughed. After demanding space and formal proceedings, she was discovering that formal proceedings are exactly that. Schedule it, I said. Let's see what she really wants. Friday afternoon, my phone rang. Unknown number. This is Attorney Thompson, representing your wife in the divorce proceedings. We need to discuss urgent matters regarding the case. All communication goes through my attorney, I said, about to hang up. Please wait. There are serious legal implications she was not aware of when she initiated this process. I paused. Like what? Her email constitutes legal abandonment of the marital home combined with your immediate financial separation. She has lost significant rights. She did not realize what she was giving up. Now, I was interested. Go on. She essentially documented her voluntary departure and her request for separation. Your response and subsequent actions have created a legal timeline that heavily favors your position. We need to meet immediately to discuss the terms. I almost smiled. Tell your client to call my attorney. We will schedule something for next week. It really cannot wait until. It waited 4 days while she enjoyed her space. It can wait through the weekend. I hung up and immediately called my attorney. He was practically smiling when I told him about the conversation. Her email was a gift, he said. Documented abandonment, clear intent to separate, and your immediate protective actions show that you were responding to those stated intentions without initiating hostile actions. What does that mean in practical terms? It means she waived her claim to exclusive rights to the marital home, created grounds for immediate asset protection, and handed us proof of her intent to dissolve the marriage. Most divorces take months to establish that kind of clear timeline. Saturday morning, she showed up at the house. I watched through the window as she tried her key. When it did not work, she knocked. I opened the door, but did not invite her in. Do you need something? We need to talk. This has all escalated. You asked for space. I gave you space. You asked for a divorce. I accommodated that request. What escalated? I did not want this to turn into a legal war. You sent an email as if you were terminating a business contract. I treated it like business. This is what business looks like. She looked frustrated. Can I at least come in? It is still my house too, actually. According to your email and your attorney, you are staying at your sister's house indefinitely. Your words established abandonment of residence. That is ridiculous. I was just upset. Then maybe you should have called instead of sending formal documentation of your intentions. Her phone rang. She answered, and I could hear her attorney's voice, even from where I stood. Do not say anything else. Come to my office immediately. She hung up, looking defeated. This is not what I wanted. Then you should have thought about what you wanted before deciding what you did not want. After she left, I called my attorney to update him on the conversation. Perfect, he said. She is establishing a pattern of not understanding the consequences of her own actions. That helps us significantly. Monday morning brought the formal meeting. Both attorneys, both parties, a conference room that felt more like a corporate merger than a marriage dissolution. Her attorney started immediately. My client was in emotional distress when she sent that email. She requests that we treat this as a temporary separation rather than grounds for divorce. My attorney slid a folder across the table. Your client specifically stated she was asking for a divorce and needed space to reflect on her life. My client respected her clearly expressed wishes and protected his interests accordingly. She looked pale as her attorney reviewed the timeline of my actions: bank separation, insurance changes, documented communication, legal deposits. You did all this in 2 days? She asked. You made it clear that you had already decided. I merely responded efficiently. Her attorney whispered something to her. She shook her head. More whispering. Her face turned redder. What if we agreed to couples therapy instead? She asked. You did not mention therapy in your email. You mentioned divorce and the need for space. People say things when they are upset. People also face consequences when they say things they do not mean. My attorney leaned forward. Your client initiated formal divorce proceedings. My client responded appropriately to those proceedings. If she has doubts about her decision, that is not grounds to reverse the legal process she started. The meeting lasted 90 minutes. Her attorney asked for several delays, suggested various compromises, and tried to reframe her email as emotional rather than intentional. My attorney kept coming back to the same point. She was an adult who had made an adult decision, documented it in writing, and now wanted to avoid the consequences of that decision. We will need time to review our options, her attorney finally said. Of course, mine replied. My client will continue to respect her request for space while the legal process moves forward. Outside the building, she caught up to me in the parking lot. "This is not you," she said. "You are not this cold. I am exactly who I have always been. The difference is that I am no longer trying to fix something you decided was broken. We can fix this. You did not want to fix it. You wanted space and a divorce. I am giving you exactly what you asked for. But your attorney is waiting for you. You should probably discuss your options with him." I drove home thinking about how quickly everything had changed. For days earlier, she had sent an email ending our marriage. Now, she was discovering that endings have processes and processes have consequences. My phone buzzed with a text from her. "That is not what I meant." I replied, "Then you should say what you mean and mean what you say." For the first time in months, I felt like I was finally dealing with someone who understood that actions have consequences. Unfortunately for her, she was learning this lesson the hard way. Tuesday evening, I came home from work to find her car in my driveway. She was sitting on the front steps of the house as if she lived there. "How did you get past the new locks?" I asked, genuinely curious. "I did not. I have been waiting for 2 hours in this November weather." "That is determination." She stood up, trying to look confident. "We need to talk. Really talk this time." "About what?" "Your attorney said you were reviewing your options." "I have thought about everything. About us. About what I really want." I unlocked the front door, but did not invite her in. "And I want to come home. I want to work on our marriage." Interesting timing. Right after discovering what divorce legally entails. That is not why. Of course it is. I crossed the threshold, leaving the door open. "You thought you could ask for a divorce, test the waters while keeping me as a safety net, and then come back whenever you felt like it." She followed me into the kitchen. "That is not true." "Then explain the timing. You were certain about the divorce last week. What changed?" She could not answer that question honestly. So, she tried a different approach. "I made a mistake." People make mistakes. People also live with the consequences of their mistakes. I started preparing dinner as if she were not there. Grilled chicken, steamed vegetables, simple and efficient. "Are you really going to ignore me?" "I am not ignoring you. I am treating you exactly as you asked. With space." "This is ridiculous. I live here too. According to your email, you live at your sister's house indefinitely." She sat at the kitchen table uninvited. "What do you want me to do?" "Beg. I want you to be honest about why you are here." "I told you. You told me what you think I want to hear. Tell me what really happened." She stayed silent for several minutes while I cooked. Finally, "My sister thinks I am crazy for leaving you." "Your sister's opinion changed your mind about our marriage." "Well, she made some good points. Like the fact that I am throwing away a good man over stupid complaints." I plated my dinner and sat across from her. "What were the stupid complaints?" "I do not know, just things." "Try again." She looked frustrated. "You never wanted to go out. You were always working or watching sports. You never planned anything romantic. And now, I realized those were not really problems." "What made you realize that?" Another long pause. She struggled because the honest answer was not flattering. "Being alone made me think about what I really had." "And what did you have?" "A husband who paid the bills, never cheated, never lied, and never made me worry about anything serious." I almost laughed. That is quite a romantic revelation. It sounds superficial when I say it like that. It sounds honest. Finally, I ate my dinner while she sat there, looking uncomfortable. "So what happens now?" she asked. "Now? You live with the decision you made." "But I changed my mind." "You changed your mind about the consequences, not about the reasons you left." "What does that mean?" "It means you still think I am boring. You still think I do not plan enough romantic gestures. You still have the same complaints. You just realize those complaints are not worth being alone." She started to cry. "That is not fair. What is not fair is expecting me to pretend this conversation never happened. You did not leave because we had problems. You left because you thought you could do better, and now you realize you were wrong." I realized I could not do better. It is different. Her crying grew louder. "So that is it. You are not even going to try." "I tried for 8 years. You decided it was not enough." People change. People grow. You are right. I changed and grew over the past week. I grew a backbone to stop accepting disrespect. She wiped her eyes and tried to compose herself. "What would it take for you to consider working things out?" "Honesty. Complete honesty about why you really left and why you really want to come back." "I told you. You told me what sounds reasonable." Tell me what is true. She stayed silent for a long time. Finally, I thought there was someone better out there. And there is not. Because you looked? Because I explored my options. There is the truth, finally. So you asked for a divorce to shop around, while keeping me as a safety net. I did not see it like that. How did you see it? I thought you would fight for me, that you would try to win me back, that you would show me why I should stay. I stood up and cleared my plate. You thought I would fight for the privilege of being married to someone who was actively looking to replace me. When you put it like that, it sounds awful. It is awful. She followed me to the kitchen sink. But I came back. I chose you. You came back because your other options did not work out. That is not choosing me. That is settling for me. That is not how I see it. How you see it does not matter. What matters is what actually happened. Her phone buzzed with a text message. She ignored it. Who is texting you? Nobody important. The guy you were exploring your options with? She did not answer, which was answer enough. He is still texting you, and you are in my kitchen trying to reconcile our marriage. You really do not see the problem with that. It is not what you think. I think you kept him as a safety net while you tested whether I would take you back. Now, you are keeping me as a safety net to see if you will commit. You are being paranoid. I am being realistic. Show me your phone. What? If you have nothing to hide, show me your phone. She clutched it tighter. I am not going to prove myself to you. You are not going to prove yourself to me because you cannot. You are still playing both sides. I went to the front door and opened it. It is time to leave. Are you really going to throw away 8 years over this? You threw away 8 years when you decided I was not enough. I am just accepting your decision. She stood in the doorway for a few minutes, probably hoping I would change my mind. Your attorney will contact mine for the next steps, I said. After she left, I felt something I had not felt in months, certainty. She had shown me exactly who she was and what I meant to her. Everything else was just negotiation tactics. My phone rang an hour later. Her sister, she is devastated. She really loves you. She loves safety. There is a difference. Can you not give her another chance? She already had 8 years of chances. She used them to decide I was not good enough. People make mistakes, and people live with the consequences of their mistakes. I hung up and turned off my phone. Some conversations are not worth having twice. Thursday morning brought an unexpected call from my attorney. We need to meet today. I received some interesting information about your wife's activities during her period of space. What kind of information? The kind that explains why she suddenly wanted a divorce and why she is now desperate to reconcile. An hour later, I was sitting in his office looking at printed screenshots, phone records, and financial statements. Her attorney inadvertently provided discovery documents that paint a very clear picture, he said, sliding the papers across his desk. The first document was a credit card statement. Several charges at expensive restaurants, bars, and hotels over the past month. All this while she was supposed to be reflecting on her life at her sister's house. She was not staying with her sister, I said. Not exclusively. Look at the hotel charges. 3 different hotels, multiple nights each, all downtown where she never had any reason to be. Now look at this. Phone records showing hundreds of texts and calls to a number I did not recognize. The timeline starts 6 weeks before her divorce email. Who does the number belong to? A coworker from her old job, someone named Derek, who recently transferred here from their Denver office. The pieces fell together instantly. She planned this. It gets even better. Look at these screenshots her attorney accidentally included. Text messages between her and this Derek. The early ones were innocent enough, but they quickly escalated into secret communications about leaving our marriage. I am finally going to tell him this weekend. I cannot pretend anymore. Are you sure you want to leave him? Divorce is complicated. I have already decided. Life is too short to stay in a boring marriage. And what about the financial stuff? I heard he makes good money. That is what attorneys are for. I will take care of it. I read through dozens of messages spanning weeks. Her complaining about our marriage, him encouraging her to leave, them planning dinners and weekend getaways. So she had this whole plan before she even sent me that email. It looks that way, but here is where it gets interesting. He showed me more recent messages from the past week. I thought you were getting a divorce. It is more complicated than expected. What do you mean complicated? The legal stuff is a mess and expensive. So what does that mean for us? I need time to figure things out. Time? I thought you said you were sure about leaving him. I am. I just need to handle this right. Then his messages turned cold. It feels like you are leading me on. I am not. I just need to be smart about this. Smart for what? Either you want to be with me or you do not. It is not that simple. It is that simple. Call me when you have actually left your husband. The last message was from Tuesday night, after her visit to the house, in the kitchen. Hey, I have been thinking about us. No reply from him. That explains everything, I said. She thought she had a sure thing lined up, asked for a divorce to pursue a relationship with him, then realized he was not interested in a messy situation. And now, she is trying to save her marriage because her backup plan fell through. What does this mean for the divorce? It means we have documented proof of her secret involvement with another man, premeditation, and deception. She cannot claim the divorce was an emotional mistake when we have proof she planned it for weeks. I felt vindicated and disgusted at the same time. 8 years of marriage, and she was planning her exit strategy while lying to my face every day. There is more, he said. The financial statements show she opened her own bank account 3 weeks before the divorce email. She was transferring money there gradually. How much? About $4,000 from household expenses and her personal account. She was moving money from our joint funds to finance her secret communications and meetings. Legally, it is more complex than that. But morally? Yes. My phone buzzed with a text from her. I know you are angry, but we can fix this. I showed the message to my attorney. Reply however you want. At this point, she is only creating more evidence. I typed back. Fix what? Exactly. Our marriage, our relationship, everything. Which relationship? The one with me, or the one with Derek? My phone immediately started ringing. I declined the call. Another text. I do not know what you are talking about. I took a screenshot of one of her text messages about leaving her boring marriage and sent it to her. My phone blew up with calls and texts. How did you get this? Where did this come from? This is private. We need to talk right now. I turned off my phone and looked at my attorney. Now what? Now, we use this information to resolve the divorce quickly and favorably. She has lost any moral or legal high ground she might have claimed. What should I expect? A very desperate woman who realizes that actions have consequences. That evening, she showed up at the house again. This time, she looked panicked instead of confident. You went through my private messages. Your attorney provided them during discovery. Accidentally, apparently. Those messages are taken out of context. What context makes I cannot pretend anymore better. I was confused. I was going through a hard time. You were planning to leave for someone else while moving money from our joint accounts. I was not stealing. That money was mine too. The money you spent on hotel stays and dinners with Derek. She sat on the front steps of the house, like before. How long have you known? Since this morning. Are you going to use it in court? That depends on how reasonable you want to be about the terms of the divorce. What does that mean? It means you caused this situation through deceit and your secret involvement with another man. You can accept responsibility and make this easy. Or you can fight it and make it very public and very expensive. You would really drag all this into court? You dragged it into existence when you decided to plan a new relationship instead of working on our marriage. She sat in silence for several minutes. Derek will not answer my calls anymore. Shocking. Turns out he was not interested in dating a married woman going through a messy divorce. I made a mistake. You made several. Planned mistakes, calculated mistakes. So, there is no chance. There was no chance the moment you decided another man was worth more than our marriage. I never took things that far with him. You spent weeks planning it. That is close enough. She finally stood up to leave. Well, I really loved you. You loved what I provided. Safety, stability, and someone who never questioned where you were or what you were doing. That is not true. Your text messages say otherwise. After she left, I called my attorney. She is ready to negotiate, I said. Perfect timing. I just finished reviewing all the evidence. It should be a very short negotiation. The divorce mediation was scheduled for the following Monday. Over the weekend, I discovered just how completely her world was falling apart. Saturday afternoon, my neighbor caught me while I was working in the garage. Heard about you and your wife. Sorry, man. Thanks. These things happen. Yeah, but the way it went down. He shook his head. My wife works at the same company as yours. Word is going around about her and that guy from Denver. I stopped what I was doing. What kind of word? Apparently, he is telling people she misrepresented her situation. He says she told him she was already separated when they started whatever they were doing. And now, everyone knows she was married and planning to leave you for him. It made her look pretty bad, especially when he ended things once the situation got messy. How bad? Bad enough that Human Resources had a conversation with her about workplace relationships and professional conduct. Sunday morning brought a call from her sister. She is not doing well. She lost her job on Friday. Lost how? They said it was downsizing. But everyone knows it was because of the situation with Derek. He is at the management level. She is not. Guess who they kept? That is unfortunate. She has been crying for 3 days straight. She has no job, no money saved, and now nowhere to stay. What do you mean, nowhere to stay? I told her she could stay here temporarily while she figured out the divorce stuff. I did not sign up for her to move in permanently while she rebuilds her entire life. So, where is she going? That is why I am calling. She wants to come home. She made her choice. Come on, she learned her lesson. She lost everything. She lost everything because she threw everything away. Do you have no compassion? I have plenty of compassion. That is why I am not going to let her make the same mistake twice. Monday morning's mediation was brutal. She showed up looking like she had not slept in days, which was probably the case. Her attorney started with the expected arguments about emotional distress and temporary poor judgment. My attorney responded by laying out the evidence chronologically, the planning, the secret involvement with another man, the financial transfers, the attempted manipulation. My client is prepared to be generous despite the circumstances, he said. But we are not negotiating from a position where both parties share equal responsibility for the end of the marriage. Her attorney asked for a private conference with his client. They left for 20 minutes. When they returned, she looked even worse. We are prepared to accept a simplified dissolution, her attorney announced. What does that mean? I asked my attorney quietly. It means she keeps her personal belongings and walks away from everything else. The house is yours, the retirement accounts are yours, the joint savings. She already spent most of her half on hotels and restaurants. I almost felt sorry for her. Almost. The paperwork took 2 hours to finalize. She signed everything without an argument, like someone who had completely given up. Outside the mediation center, she caught up to me in the parking lot. I know you probably hate me. I do not hate you. I just do not trust you anymore. I understand. I know I messed everything up. You did not mess up. You made deliberate choices. I know. And I lost the best thing in my life because of it. You lost it because you decided it was not the best thing in your life. She started crying again. I do not know what I am going to do. You will figure it out, like adults do when they make adult decisions. I have nowhere to go. That is no longer my problem to solve. Can I ask you something? Sure. If I had been honest from the beginning, if I had told you I was having doubts instead of planning all this behind your back, would you have fought for us? I thought about it for a minute. If you had been honest, if you had come to me and said you felt disconnected and wanted to work on things, I probably would have fought for us. But not now. Now, I know who you really are when things get difficult. You lie, you scheme, and you keep backup plans instead of trying to fix what is in front of you. I could change. You could. But you would have to do it alone, for yourself, not to get something you want from me. So it is really over. It was really over the moment you decided another man was worth destroying our marriage. She nodded and walked toward her car. I watched her drive away, probably for the last time. That evening, I called my attorney to settle the final details. How are you feeling? He asked. Relieved and vindicated. Good. You handled this exactly right. You stayed calm. You protected yourself, and you did not let emotion override good judgment. What happens now? Now, you wait 30 days for the divorce to be final, and then you move on with your life. Any advice for moving on? Yeah. Remember this lesson. When someone shows you who they are, believe them the first time. 2 weeks later, I ran into her former coworker at the grocery store. I heard you guys got divorced, she said. Sorry about that. Thanks, it worked out for the best. Yeah, I heard about the whole situation with Derek. What a mess. What is she doing now? Last I heard, she moved back in with her parents. Derek transferred back to Denver to get away from the whole situation. Apparently, his ex-wife found out about the relationship and it complicated his custody arrangement. Turns out actions have consequences for everyone involved. Yeah, funny how that works. I went home thinking about how much my life had improved in just 3 weeks. No more tension at home. No more walking on eggshells around someone who was fundamentally unhappy with everything, wondering when the next argument would start. For the first time in months, I looked forward to coming home every day. My phone buzzed with a text from an unknown number. This is a mistake. We could have been happy. I blocked the number without replying. Some conversations do not deserve to continue. 30 days later, the divorce was final. No ceremony, no drama, just paperwork legally ending what she had emotionally destroyed weeks earlier. I celebrated by doing something I had not done in years. I planned a weekend getaway without asking anyone's permission or worrying about someone else's mood. 3 months after the divorce, my life had completely transformed. I had remodeled the kitchen, started going back to the gym, and reconnected with friends I had lost touch with during the marriage. That was when she made her final attempt. She showed up at my office on a Thursday afternoon, looking better than she had during the divorce proceedings. Someone had clearly given her advice on appearances. Can we talk for just 5 minutes? About what? About us. About what we could have been. There is no us. There has not been since you sent that email. I have changed. I am going to therapy. I understand now what I threw away. Good for you. Personal growth is important. I know I do not deserve another chance, but you are right. You do not deserve another chance. Can we at least try to be friends? Friends do not lie to each other for weeks while planning betrayals. I was confused and scared. You were calculating and selfish. There is a difference. She tried tears, but they seemed manufactured. I miss what we had. You miss what I provided. Safety, stability. Someone who paid the bills while you figured out what you wanted. That is not true. Your text messages say otherwise. Those messages do not represent who I really am. Those messages represent exactly who you are when you think no one is looking. People change. Some change, but change happens through consequences, not by avoiding them. So, there is really nothing I can say. There is nothing you can say because there is nothing left to say. You made your choice months ago. I chose poorly. You chose honestly. For the first time in our marriage, you were completely honest about what you wanted. I am grateful for that honesty. Grateful. It saved me from wasting more years with someone who did not want to be there. She stayed silent for a moment, probably realizing this conversation was not going as she had planned. I heard you were dating someone. I am living my life. Is it serious? That is none of your business. I hope she appreciates what she has. She appreciates honesty and direct communication. Novel concept. After she left, I realized I felt nothing. No anger, no sadness, no lingering attachment. Just relief that the chapter was finally closed. 6 months later, I received a wedding invitation in the mail. She had apparently found someone willing to marry a woman who had demonstrated her approach to commitment. I wished them luck. They would need it. A year after her email, I was genuinely happy. Not just content or satisfied, but truly happy. I had forgotten what that felt like during the final years of our marriage. My life had become exactly what she used to complain about: predictable, stable, and boring. The difference is that I had found someone who valued those qualities instead of resenting them. The best part? When she asked for space, I gave her exactly what she asked for: permanent space. Some lessons are only learned when the consequences are irreversible. Sometimes, the greatest gift someone can give you is showing you who they really are. She had given me that gift with her email, and I had responded by accepting it completely. Her space had become my freedom. Her divorce had become my new beginning. These consequences had become my vindication, the perfect response to a perfect ending. Comment. I wanted to share a few thoughts with you after this story. What stood out to me is the importance of protecting your self-worth. Healthy boundaries are an act of self-love, not selfishness. Taking responsibility for our own decisions helps us grow and move forward. Choosing peace might feel uncomfortable at first, but it creates space for real happiness. Give yourself grace while you're healing because it doesn't happen overnight. You deserve relationships where you feel safe, valued, and respected. Letting go of what no longer serves you can open the door to something much better. I hope this encourages you to reflect on your own life and make choices that honor you. Thank you for being part of this community, and always remember to choose yourself with confidence. If you like the stories, don't forget to leave a comment and support the channel by subscribing. See you in the upcoming stories.